Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Nodding. I made an abstract sculpture the other day and I want to share it with you. It's basically quite simple. It was inspired by MasterXeon and his Sci Fi UI video tutorial. So this is basically an array. Okay, so linear array. Because Blender doesn't have circular array, so the trick here is to use array and Simple Deform Bend modifier. So this one is bending it using the center. So there's this center point that I can move around and I can rotate. And at the same time, this also rotated 360 degrees. So it's bending it. So it's really like deforming it. But I think this is a really nice trick. If you watch the tutorial by MasterXeon, you can use this to create like a sci-fi UI, or it's actually much simpler than what I'm doing here. So anyway, let me reset everything. So this is circular array with a lot of things happening. In reality, you don't want to do too much. We need to just simplify this. So it's basically, so if I didn't extrude it, maybe I just get rid of this. Just use the noise displace and polygon. So we end up with just this guy. And I lost the deformer. So I need to recreate it. Just array and simple bend. Simple deform bend 360 degree center axis, and we pick the axis that we want to rotate it with. Okay, so we are back. File, save as. Yep. Okay, let's go to the top view. So this is the center pivot. We actually like I like this kind of control. It's actually very interesting. You can see what's going on here. I only use plane. Basically, I can reduce this all the way, so we don't need too much craziness. So this is how we start with. And what's happening here is I'm just first I have control over the X and the Y. That's actually changing the shape as well. Then what's interesting here is just the list masking. So I'm getting rid of some of the faces using noise. In this case, Perlin original noise. So I can change this to random cell. You can change the value here, and you can have all kind of different pattern. And the whole thing is, of course, we can control using array. I mean, as the repeat to do the repeat. So it's basically just a circular array. That's the idea. Then after we do that, we can displace it further with noise or other ways to displace it. So you can displace it in the z-axis, but we don't want to go too crazy. I guess in this case, just use the x and the y. This is already kind of giving like a sci-fi look. But if it's too organic, it becomes like a little bit like more like aliens kind of design instead of like human-made. And I kind of like it. So it's really up to you how you want to play with this idea. Most of the time you're gonna end up with a flower because it's a circular array. So if you want to go a little bit more, so go crazy, just use multi-extrude. This should give you like really weird design. Range number, step, plug this into the face mask, increase the count, so we start to get something really weird. Increase, let's just play around with this. It's a little bit like crystal at the moment, but we really just want to extrude it randomly. Oh yeah, we end up with flowers. If you want to do like a proper sci-fi, you look at MasterXeon's video tutorial. It's a little bit more manual, but I think there's kind of something nice about it. So with procedural stuff, oftentimes you end up with like organic flowery stuff. I don't know why. Maybe maybe this node stuff, it's pretty alien. It's pretty weird. But what's nice, of course, here we have control over the circular array and also the center pivot. This gives you a lot of potential. Okay, don't rotate it too much, I guess. Reset the rotations, Option R. Reset the position, Option G. So flowers. Yeah, don't forget you can change this masking into anything. Give it a try. For now, I guess we end up with flower, but of course you can really, instead of going crazy organic, you use less, and there must be a kind of like a nice way to do this. I mean, you don't go too crazy with the noise. Let's zero it out. And multi-extrude, you don't rotate too much. It's pretty interesting. The time you kind of do the rotations, it become organic looking. With a human-made objects, we actually quite like a kind of like angular angle. We don't want too many angles, just a few simple angles, angular, and then we also like to mirror stuff, so we end up with something like a gear. So if you do too much, it's become like a flower. Otherwise, it's like a blade or something, or like a fan. Okay. But I think this has potentials. Just have to spend a little bit more time on it. Oh, there you go. What is this? What did I do? Polygon proportional. So this is more angular somehow. Maybe we don't do multi-extrude. Again, we only have this. So array in the x-axis, simple deform, 360 degree, bend, z-axis. Okay, in this case I didn't use the center pivot, but you can always use empty to have more control. Alright, so there you go. That's in reality, I mean, you can don't stop here. You can always do like some kind of rotations. You can rotate this after you do this, you can, I think you can move it. Yeah, so you can have rotations and you can animate it. And of course you can have multiple of this as well and rotate it differently. So maybe bake it out, change the scale, and see what you can come up with. Alright, so there you go. That's pretty much it. Thanks again for tuning in. Hopefully this is useful, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.